Good morning. Thanks for coming in. We are just waiting on my co host to get here and for Jacob to get here, and then we'll get started. Just going to let the room fill up. If you could share out the link, much appreciated. Thank you. Good morning, Jacob. Did you get the invite to come up to speaker? Oh, it looks like he had to drop out. Not sure if you're joining from a laptop or a mobile device. I'm going to try and send him a direct message.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
I uh I forgot that this only works on the phone and not on the PC.
Yeah.
It's a little bit annoying.
I was just going to say that. And then you dropped out. I was perfect. So we have Bullish that is going to join us also. I see Tanish. I don't know if he wants to join us. If he would like to, he can join us as well.
I don't think he normally he's a guy of writing, you know.
More text.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Okay, perfect. Okay. So if you haven't already, please share out the link so we can get the room a little more filled. We have a lot of people already here, so we can probably get started here shortly. How are you doing this morning, Jacob?
I caught the cold. Have a running nose, so sorry for that. Other than that, I'm doing pretty well. A little bit stressed. We are getting close to launch, so working really hard.
Absolutely. The weather has been even here in California, kind of rainy, so it's a lot of flu type feelings going around.
Yeah.
So I first just want to give a little background as to how I found out about what I thought was post pot that is now right now B&B pot, just because we have not had a post chain launch. But I heard about your project about 3 months ago, a little more than 3 months ago. And so I reached out to do an interview. The reason that was is because I'm very interested in post chain projects. You guys were doing your sacrifice. It's notable to say that Postpod, I want to say, had the third largest sacrifice as far as a post chain product. Is that right,
I
Jacob?
think it was fourth actually, but yeah, in that range, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and so us as KSB.TV planning the Postmasters golf tournament, we were constantly reaching out and communicating with different post products. And I'm just going to put you on mute just for a second. Okay. We were working with various post chain products just to find out, how are they involved with post chain? What is their capability or potential for creating more adoption on Pulse Chain. And from that, I reached out to the Postpot team, to Jacob, and very graciously, he came onto our channel and we interviewed him on KSB.TV. If you want to go and check out that interview, you can. But we have him here today, so I'm pretty sure we'll get all your questions answered. I was very impressed with this interview right away. It did not take me very long to see how great of a need that decentralized gambling platform could create, and then to go a step further and to know that I could essentially own the house, be a part of the house, stake my tokens to get shares of the gambling fees, all very, very, very impressive to me. And so I got involved right away as far as sharing this project, and I do have a lot of support and belief and confidence in Jacob and his team and the work that they're doing. So, with that being said, I'm going to let Jacob go ahead and start explaining the project and where we are now with everything.
Okay, thank you very much. That was some very nice words, and you have been a massive support for us since day one. I think you have been very good to us in mentioning and talking about it, and we have benefited greatly from your willingness to work together with us. Appreciate that a lot. And it is true that our focus for the post chain was adoption because we believe that we had to come up with a very good motivating and a very good incentive for people who just had their coins forked to try and go and play with them on the testnet, or sorry, on the post chain mainnet. Obviously, we know that all of the users in the hexagon and the pulse chain ecosystem they will do that, but how could we build something that would incentivize people who are not in our current ecosystem to go and try it, right? That's the people I'm interested in because we already got all of the other ones. And since every single wallet is being forked and being given a copy of their coins, I wanted to build something that could incentivize them to come try out Pulse Chain. And what I came up with was basically that if I could provide a entertaining game with a 100% secure way of playing and a chance to win real monetary value with something that you were given for free. I think that's kind of a powerful incentive to be able to win real money with something you're given for free in a 100% secure environment. I think it's a little bit hard to offer something that is more incentivizing than that. So that was the initial idea behind the entire thing. Obviously, during the time, it has been growing to include multiple other things. And even without that adoption aspect, as you can see, we are deploying on BNB chain. It seems that the project in itself has so much native value that we are solving a real life market fit problem, right? So in the gambling industry, you have a lot of problems actually, and it's a market that is just in the United States is worth $200 billion. So we are tackling a massive market, a proven market, something that is only when you look at the history, it's only gaining traction for the past many years. It's only expanding. And there are some real problems in this market. First of all, censorship. There is financial issues where big winners they sometimes get shut out or they don't get their payment or whatever. And there's also the fairness in the games, so that you don't, when you are betting with a centralized party, you don't really know if the game you're betting does what it's supposed to do or what it promised. So I knew immediately that there was big opportunity to decentralize a market as big as this. Um, there's so much volume and so big problems. So we immediately understood that utilizing the blockchain, the smart contract, the low gas fees, and all of that what that offers, we could build a product that would target the exact same market, but inherently be much better from the core product. Gambling on BNB pod is 100% secure. There's no censorship. You are guaranteed a payout when you win, simply because the project is a series of smart contracts, and you're not betting against a centralized party or a counterparty. You are betting against other humans who already put in their money. So the contract knows it has the money to pay to the winner. And the contract does not really care who you are, where you're from, or how much money you have, or whatever. It's just a mathematical operation, and it will pay out to the winner no matter what. Nobody can stop it. I cannot stop it. Nobody can. And we inherently believe that by solving these native issues inside of gambling, we can provide a better product for everyone. Better odds, better fees, more security, more flexibility, less censorship. All of these things combined just creates a interesting project with disruptive opportunity. And I think that the performance of the token after 15 days of deployment and the support we have from the community really shows that a lot of people agree with us in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we should talk about that a little bit more. Get into the token as far as how many tokens there are. How did the process work in the beginning? I know that we are past the sacrifice phase, so they can't benefit off of getting airdropped on 5 chains. But to know, what chains you're planning to deploy on, and how they can get access to the token now.
Yeah. So we have 1 million tokens in total. There will never be any more per chain. And that 1 million tokens is what's sharing all of the profit the contracts are generating. Um, we had a sacrifice phase where we sold 800,000 tokens. We kept 100,000 for the team wallet, and we kept 100,000 tokens for a initial marketing strategy called the participation phase. So 80% of the tokens are in the hands of the sacrifices, and currently I think it's around 66% of all tokens are staked locked for 100 days. Um, we will deploy on more chains because the product is built for EVM chains, and as you know, there are a selection of those, mainly Polygon, AVAX, Phantom, Pulse Chain, Ethereum, BSC, BNB chain, sorry. So, in due time, we will deploy on more chains to tap into more communities and more tokens and more activity. Um, the exact order of that and the timings are not known. It will most likely be in a order where we are looking at transaction volume and adopted users on the chain, so that we will basically start from the top and work our way down. The next chain will for sure be Post Chain, because this project was initially developed for that, but due to circumstances that we all know of, we had to move forward with BNB Chain. The reason for that is that when you build a truly new and innovative project, you're kind of running on lent time because, as you know, in this business, everyone is copying everything. And having a truly new and innovative product is just sitting there to be grabbed and copied, right? And I was hoping that the post chain launch would go as promised or as expected, but it didn't. So that kind of started to push us forward with other chains simply because we didn't want someone to copy our contracts and just go ahead and steal the product. That would be unfortunate for us and the sacrifices. So it was kind of a move we had to do, I believe, just to secure everyone's sacrifice and to secure the project as a whole. It's honestly in this market, it's actually quite difficult to come up with something entirely new that nobody's ever done before. Like there's 63,000 crypto coins on the market. How do you just suddenly build something that nobody has ever done, right? um, and that's also the same reason why 99% of what you see is forks of meme coins and tagged coins, simply because it's so easy to use a token template and deploy it on the chain with a new logo and then put up a WordPress site and then start making some retweet hype. It's so easy. Um, but we decided very early on that we wanted to build something that was real, like truly unique, like real developers. They don't get fulfillment by copying something and spending 12 minutes on like literally more time on making the logo than making the contract. Like that personally, that would never do anything for me. So as a software developer, I knew I needed to create something new. So that's what we did. And I think that a lot of people have realized that as well, and that's why we have seen such an incredible support, both in sacrifice phase, but also from the community itself. Um, I believe that doing something like this, where you come up with a new product from the bottom up, generates trust from the community because they can see that the team has the creativity and they have the means to produce like real market fit DeFi. And I think we are benefiting greatly from that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think another testament to how much the community and people in general believe in BNB Pod is the percentage of total coins that are staked right now. I believe that we're a little past 66%.
Yes, that is obviously amazing, and I'm so proud of the community that they have that kind of trust in us. Locking away 66% of the entire supply is a massive indicator of trust in the team and then the token's performance over time. So, like, that is amazing, and we every day we are so happy about how well the community has taken this and how high the staking global stake percentage have actually gotten. It has exceeded my expectations by a lot. Um, so obviously, as hexagons, we know what lock coins does to the price, and when and in this case here, we already have a pretty low max supply with a 66% locked away. That usually does some positive things for the price, and I think that is what we are seeing now is the exact result of that massive support from the community, and we are so proud of that.
Yeah, let's talk about that price a little bit. The price in which people, for the most part, you paid the range that you could have paid to get into both to BNB Pod, where the price is now, and then talk a little bit about the tokenomics behind how the coin is used within the system. What is that price point, and how can that differ from the price on the market?
Okay, sure. Um, we decided that inside of the contract, it would always have a fixed value of minimum $30. So no matter if the price on the market is 15, if you bought it on the market for 15, you would be gambling with a $30 value. So that kind of creates a floor inside of the contract. And if the contract has enough volume, it will end up reaching parity with that on the market. I have zeroed out. It's all dependent on the volume and the usage of the protocol, which you could kind of say about everything, right? So, but we created this $30 floor as an incentive for all sacrificers so that you could sacrifice for $5, and you would probably expect to be gambling with 30 when it goes live. I think that's an interesting incentive to sacrifice. And it is also an interesting fundamental for the token price. If the price on the market goes above $30, the price in the contract will follow upwards, but it will never go under 30. And if it's above, we add a 10% premium as well. This 10% premium basically gives anyone the ability to increase their betting power with 10%. So let's say you have $100 of BNB, you could go gamble with that if you wanted to. But if you swap it into BNBP before you start your gamble, you will have $110 instead of 100. That mechanic will create some positive buy pressure on the token on the market, and it will also give anyone caught in a tax token an incentive to not lose value by gambling with that value. So imagine you are in a tax token, which, by the way, is 90% of all projects on BNB. Imagine you're in a tax token. Normally, let's just say, for example's sake, that it's a 10% tax on transactions. If you were to gamble with that value, you would lose 10% every time you wanted to insert it into a pool of gambling, for instance, the jackpot. So that disincentivizes people to use that value because you're taxed. But with this 10% premium that BNBP gives you, it kind of counteracts that tax token scenario. So tax token holders are used to losing value when they move it, but in this case, they actually sustain the value simply because swapping from a tax token into BNBP, you lose 10% and you get that 10% back. So by having that, we are incentivizing everyone in tax tokens with value in tax tokens to still gamble because you're not losing your value. So we thought this through and we have implemented quite a lot of tokenomics and fundamentals and motivators and incentives so that we truly believe that we have a set of very unique and very interesting tokenomics that is designed to only do one thing, and that is raise the price of BNBP. And I think that a large part of the community have realized that they are quite powerful. And even without the game started, we have seen the price reach almost $24 a piece. So I think that proves that they are working, and it proves that people have trust in the tokenomics to work as expected. Yeah.
Yeah, and for all those reasons, I am very bullish on this project. So right now, the community of stakers, the 66%, they are staked. There is a minimum, and I was just on the website, of 100 days that they will be locked in. But as of right now, they are not receiving rewards, and that's because the rewards come from the games. Am I right?
That is absolutely correct. And something that is interesting about this is that all yield paid in BNB pot is real yield because everything is coming from the outside and in. All these fees are taken from people who bring in value to the protocol. That is extremely powerful, and it is important you understand the difference between yield in a token that inflates and yield in a token that does not inflate, because they are vastly different things. I will give you an example. If you're in a project that gives you yield by inflating the token, basically you are betting that the token project can bring in more buyers than whatever the yield inflates. Otherwise, the price will go down. In this project, all of the yield is real because it is brought from the outside and in. And it is earned by real utility from a real demand, from a real market that has proven itself over decades. Gambling is a serious thing with serious numbers behind it. And all that profit will be paid out to the stakers without ever inflating the token. And that in itself is extremely powerful. It means that no matter if zero new buyers come in, you just got paid real yield without inflating the token. So the token is not dependent on new buyers, but it can still provide you value. And that is a major difference contrary to a lot of other projects, especially on BNB. And the yield here is real. There's a lot of projects they will promise a very high APY, but they're simply betting that whatever they inflate, they can counter with bringing in more buyers. And I think in this project, it is such an undervalued aspect that all of the yield here is brought from the outside in. And when you really understand that, it kind of puts it in a new light, in my opinion, where you are sure that when you get paid, you're not also getting diluted at the same time and basically making a bet on new adoption. When you're getting paid for real yield we already generated. That's a powerful thing in my mind.
Yes, I agree. So, do we have a breakdown as far as how the games pay out fees? Do have percentages or deeper information as to what you can expect to pay as far as a player?
Yes, we do. So every game will take a 1.5 to 3% fee, and over time, that is a lot of accumulated value based on the volume, obviously. That accumulated fee will grow to a certain USD amount, and all fees will be accumulated in different tokens, basically the tokens you're gambling with. What we do is that we take all of those accumulated fees over time. So imagine $100 has been played, we take out $3 in fees, right? Then we take those $3 and we go onto the pancake swap market, the DEX, and we automatically swap that value into the BNBP native token. We take how much we were able to swap and we airdrop that back to all of the holders of the BNBP. So the airdrop is buying up BNBP from the market from other types of crypto that has been gambled with in the system, and then distributes it to the holders proportionally to how much of the global stake you own. So currently, 66% is staked, and whatever percent you have of those 66% is how much you are earning from the profits the entire operation is generating. Um, And the tokenomics, in that case, we do three things. One is the airdrop of the value. So you can have staked BNBP and you can just leave it, and every single month, a tokens will arrive in your wallet. That's your share of the yield. But also, every 7 days, we will have a lottery where 5% of that profit will be sent to one random staker. And the more you have staked, the larger the chance you have of winning it. Kind of the same as a regular lottery, where the more tickets you buy, the larger the chance you have to win it, right? So by staking BNBP, you kind of activate a passive lottery subscription in some way. So we spend 5% of that. We spend 75% on the airdrop, and the last 20% is used to buy and burn BNBP from the market every single day. So out of all of the profit that the protocol is generating, we spend 100% on returning to the BNBP holders in three different ways: buy and burn from the market, airdrop directly to the wallet, and a weekly lottery. There is no value that goes to the team. 100% of all profits go back to BNBP holders.
That's that's a crucial tokenomics for me. That was a big part of what made me fall in love with this project so much. Is what you're saying as far as the yield not coming from a set of tokens that are just being maintained somewhere, but it actually coming from the activity of the games, which essentially makes you a part of the house. It makes you an owner in the share of this casino. So, can we talk a little bit about benefits to being a BNBP holder as far as you yourself playing the games? Is there a discount as far as the percentage and fees?
Yes, there is. Being a holder of BNBP while you're gambling is beneficial, simply because you get a half of percent in discount for every token you hold. Um, that means that the default fee for a game is 3% paid by the winner. If you hold 100 BNBP in your wallet, you will reduce the 3% fee to 1.5% fee. And no matter if you hold a million tokens or 100 tokens, you cannot reduce it under 1.5%, simply because we want every single action and game in the protocol to generate yield for the holders. But being a holder will reduce it from 3 to 1.5 when you win as a BNBP holder. Yeah.
Yeah, as a weekend gambler, weekend degen. I like that tokenomic. Our co-host Bullish is here. Bullish, do you have any questions that you wanted to?
Good morning. Good morning. No, I think you guys been doing a great job covering everything, and like you've been doing a phenomenal job asking the questions to keep everyone informed. I think something that I got asked yesterday, and I think it's a good question to ask is, do you have a estimated rollout schedule for the other games?
Internally, yes, but it's not something that we are willing to commit publicly. I will say though that the roulette game is done. We're just polishing the front end. The game code, everything is done, everything is working, everything is tested. But I know that the success of these games are very driven by the front end experience. And luckily for us, all front end oriented things is something we can upgrade and change and improve over time because it's not deployed on the chain. So we might be in a scenario where we will release the games as a V1 and then just over time improve the front end experience of them. I've not fully decided if I want to make it complete Chrome experience first or if I will deploy and then improve slowly over time. Either way, we are planning on a different set of games: the Wheel of Fortune, the roulette, the jackpot, the sports, the prize calls, the slots, everything we can do basically, we are going to do. Um, and I think it's important that we can continue to offer new games and new interesting things. And also for us to be competitive with the centralized gambling market, we obviously need to be inclusive in that we bring games to whatever preference you as a player have. Some players love slots, some players hate slots, and that's how it goes all the way around, right? We all have our preference. So we have to be progressive. We have to work hard to develop these games, but it's not easy. Building these games in a fully decentralized, immutable manner that shares the profit and all of this, it's not easy because we are doing it for real. Like we are not copying something. We are not Googling something. We are doing this from the bottom up. And that's, it can be pretty difficult, but so far we have solved everything that came our way. And I feel very confident to say that at least all of the games we have known so far will happen. When? I don't know. But as a loose estimate, I would say 1 month in between every game would be what I would like.
Okay, so we do have a 3-day countdown on the website right now. What is that a countdown to? What is the first game that will be released?
First game will be the game where we ran 25,000 successful test round on testnet called the Jackpot. That game will start the same time as the participation phase, where we have 100,000 BNBP getting paid out to early players of the game. Basically, we add a bonus to every bet so that you are more incentivized to support the project on the short term growth. That game is the jackpot game, and it's a game where people can enter value in different tokens into a jackpot, and every 5 minutes it will find a random winner, and it will immediately send all of the tokens to your wallet. Plus, the bonus will get registered third party, and you will be airdropped your earnings in the bonus participation phase when all 100,000 tokens has been claimed. We will also start the referral program at the same time, where you are incentivized to share a link so that you can earn 10% on the bonus participation phase tokens that any user will win by playing on BNB Pot. So we did this referral system during the sacrifice as well. It was a great success, and we have put this towards the participation phase as well, where we are basically giving people as many incentives to come and try out the protocol, come and try out the games, and hopefully also share their knowledge about it.
Yes. So in addition to, and we know that there's a benefit to, it's actually buy pressure to buy the BNB pot token to gamble with, but that's not the only option that people have. Is that correct? What tokens, what can you play with on the site?
Yeah, so it's a very important part of this project is that you can bet with multiple tokens. You can bring in your BNB, your BUSD, your Cake, your Tether, your ETH, whatever you want that we have whitelisted. The problem with the BNB launch, though, is that 90% of the community-driven tokens on that chain are tax tokens, and they create a fundamental problem for our protocol. Simply because imagine you send $100 worth of drip or whatever baby cake or whatever they're called, all of the tax tokens. That $100 becomes $90 when it arrives into the pot. When someone wins and they get paid that out, it's now 81. You're removing 10% every time. So that creates an inherent problem. And because of that, we cannot whitelist them. We can only whitelist tokens into the game that has no tax in transactions and that has proper liquidity on the DEX, simply because I don't want anyone to win something they cannot swap into anything of their preference without losing any slippage value. So I have some internal liquidity requirements, and if the token meets those requirements, no tax and proper liquidity, we will most likely whitelist it as a token you can enter the games with. That might be 50 tokens, it might be 20, it might be 150. At this point in time, we have just whitelisted, I think, 10, but we will continue to increase them as new tokens come out and new communities flourish and all of this. So it's an ever expanding list of tokens you can bet with. And The only difference with those tokens are that they will get their price updated every 5 minutes from PancakeSwap, and you will get a one-to-one evaluation on that. Only the BNDP will get the 10% extra in evaluation every 5 minutes. So it's up to you if you want to swap it into BNBP and bet with that and get 10% more, or if you want to bet directly with whatever crypto we have whitelisted. Yeah.
So you have thoroughly answered the majority of my questions and provided, even greater understanding. If there is anybody in the room that would like to come up to speaker, if you have questions, we'll take questions from the public now. So just go ahead and press that request. Bullish, maybe you can go ahead and announce and talk about what we are doing to support the launch in 3 days.
Yeah, absolutely. So, given that we sacrifice and we technically own a piece of the house, we want to help on our part get the word out there and spread it out and promote. So, what we are going to be doing is a 1,000 BNBP giveaway where we're going to be doing a mega stream for a few hours when the jackpot launches, and you'll be able to come on stream with us, play some of the games, at with no risk, no purchase necessary from your end. And have a possibility of winning the pot, and whatever's in the pot you'll get to keep. And the primary reason for this is we want to kickstart the table games, but also have some content that we can create and share to get people who are going to be gambling anyway to be aware of the protocol in the system, because it's a very unique platform compared to some of the, I don't even like calling them competitors because they're not even in the same category, but the other places where you can go gamble online, BNB Pot and Pulse Pot, they're very unique, and something completely new that I don't think people are ready for until they actually grasp it and are able to see it firsthand.
And do we know what channel that's going to be on and like a start time?
Yes, there's going to be multiple channels, similar to like some of the multi streams you've seen before. We're going to be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. An hour before, we want to have a panel going on, and channels confirmed would be Jimrat, Sam, CITM, I believe Black, I believe you're putting your channel up as well. And basically any of the streamers who are going to be joining, they have the option of sharing it to their channel as well. So on that day, when you go on YouTube, don't be surprised if you see, 10, 12 channels live. And so one way or another, you'll be able to find it. So just pretty much, follow me, follow Black, follow, Jimrat, Sam, Crypto in the Morning, Heinz Crypto as well. We have a few other influencers from the Binance side that our community is probably not too familiar with. So we invited them because they have a community on Binance. So yeah, there's gonna be a handful of channels that will be streaming this. And Monday morning, I'll give like the official lineup for Tuesday night essentially. So stay tuned. Monday morning, we're gonna have a full lineup, actual schedule, but we're gonna be starting at 7. It's gonna be an hour panel, and then we're gonna split off into groups and just rotate the streamers and the guests and just have a good time.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I know Expensive Taste is in the room. She's going to join me. We enjoy a good jackpot. So
I have a
Hexagato,
question for Jacob.
yes, Hexagato. I was coming right to you. Go ahead.
Sounds good. So I remember one time they said we need at least 1,000 coins to be able to be like part owners of the tables. So I was wondering if Jacob could go a little into that.
Hello, Hexagonal. Thank you for the question. I believe that the 1,000 BNBP or PLSP is a requirement for making power bets in the sports market when we release that. So basically, anyone can create a individual one-to-one sports bet, but if you want to create a power bet where multiple people can join the bet on each side and you will earn a fixed fee of that, that has a requirement of 1,000 token holdings. That is interesting because it means that no matter what result the Oracle provides to us, you as a power bet creator will earn a small fee of the total volume on that bet, and not necessarily because the result was correct what you picked, right? So you're earning money on the volume in the bet instead of the result of the bet. But that's something that is coming on the sports part, the sports game deployment. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you. And I was wondering if you're doing anything for the World Cup at the end of the year.
I would love to. That's obviously a very big event. But all of that is very dependent on our Oracle provider. And not only that, it is also very dependent on if we manage to get there in time. Because my priority is that I would rather deploy games where we are not depending on a third party provider first, and then tackle those where we are dependent on a third party provider later. So no matter what, we will deploy Roulette and Wheel of Fortune before we reach the sports, simply because they are just math and we have no external dependencies on those games. So I want to get them to market first, and then we will tackle the sports. I have currently no idea on the timeline on that. I don't want to promise anything, but we are working as hard as we can, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you. And
No
congrats on the
problem.
project.
Thanks, sir.
We have Elvis coming up to speak. I think you're connected now. Elvis, do you have a question?
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. And thank you, Jacob, for your brilliant exposition. I can see most or majority of the community members have staked their tokens. I wanted to know, is there any advantage of providing liquidity pool rather than staking? Maybe it could encourage some other people to prefer to provide liquidity rather than staking the tokens.
Thank you for that question, Elvis. So that is a speculative question because I do not know how much yield will be generated. Simply because the yield comes from the volume, and the volume comes from the players. So I have no way of knowing how successful the protocol will be. So when you ask, is it more profitable for me to stake my tokens or provide the liquidity in the trading? It's a really difficult question to answer simply because nobody knows. What I can say though is I think there will be a unusual high amount of trading on the token simply because of the 10% premium. So by providing that liquidity, you would earn a pretty interesting fee because of all of that back and forth trading. Is that more than just staking them? Impossible to answer. But I could vision that you could earn a hefty amount simply because of how the tokenomics are constructed. And we do motivate directly to trade on the DEX, and that will make you earn money as a liquidity provider. So my guess would be probably, but I honestly have no idea.
Okay, thank you very much.
Chet, welcome. Do you have a question?
I do, thank you. Follow-up question to the 1,000 BNBP requirement for the power sports betting. Um, is that liquid BNBP 1,000, or can it also be staked in order to be able to do that?
It can also be staked. The same, actually, that's the same with the reduction of the fee. These benefits you get by holding a token amount, they do not look at if they are liquid or staked. They just look at if you have that amount available, or if you have that amount in your wallet. If they are staked or not, doesn't matter.
Excellent. Appreciate the response. Very impressive what you guys have done. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So we're about 15 minutes away from an hour. I didn't want to hold any more than an hour. I know your time is very valuable. I really don't have any more questions. If there's any more questions from the listeners out there, if you want to come up to speaker, then come up now. If there's no more questions, then we'll probably wrap up. I see here's one here.
This is Jed again. One more question, I guess, while we're waiting. The UI experience that you see on BNBP is what's obviously different than the Pulse version. Can we expect the same UI going forward for all their chains?
Good question. My initial answer would be yes to that. But since all front end is very fluid and very flexible, obviously we would be looking at taking in feedback from the community and improving that front end experience as much as we can. It is truly something where we have the ability to change as we see fit, and any good feedback from the community is always valuable. And actually, it is because of the community that we have included the dark mode, and it's also because of the community we have included the chat on page chat. So we do listen to the community and we take in consideration based on those suggestions. Currently, I would say yes, that this UI here is probably what we are going to default back to when we deploy. And we would just copy whatever state the front end is in. When we deploy a new change, we would copy it and fit it branding wise onto that chain. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob, I know you mentioned earlier that the plan for the second rollout will be on Pulse Chain. Is there any scenario that you see in which that is not the case? Let's say that we are in March of 2023 and Pulse Chain hasn't launched. Then is there a time frame that you guys are considering?
Yeah, never say never, right? Obviously, I would not hope for anyone that that is the case, but I truly believe that Pulse Chain will be our second deployment. With that said, I do have a internal back backline, or what to call it, a kind of a target where I cannot wait anymore again. I would be very surprised and slightly disappointed if we have this discussion mid next year and there's still no Pulse Chain. And I honestly almost cannot even consider that. I really want to have Postchain as our second deployment, but obviously, if we get to a point where Postchain is not out still in 8 months' time, we will be forced to consider otherwise. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Are there any more questions from the listeners? Go ahead, Elvis.
Yeah, Jacob. Uh, I would like to know if there is any question that you were expecting the community to ask and they did not ask, and you really think is very important that the community should be aware about. Can you ask the question and then answer it?
Yeah, I think I did that with the yield point. That is something that I personally think is very interesting to compare projects on. So that was probably where I did that. Currently, I think we have so much content available, both from interviews I've done, but also from just YouTube videos and different stuff that, like, most of this we have been over many times, and at this point it's getting hard for me to come up with new and interesting angles on it. I think that anyone should just really consider that when someone builds true decentralized finance for a real market fit demand, like we know there's demand in this, um, and you build a series of tokenomics with a community behind it that supports it and a set of developers that actually deliver as they promise. I think what you would expect is, or what you see is kind of a triangle effect where, as Richard has said, projects that build products that has a market fit, they are more interesting, right? And that is truly what we have done here. So I think that not financial advice, but you should really consider, is this something that would be interesting for me to be a part of? Or would I rather invest in projects where they are more dependent on hype and memes and retweets and mentions? Because imagine if your native utility value is that someone has to scream the name, then I'm sorry to tell you, but that will die out. It cannot be sustained long term. But if your true value proposition is that you provide a utility for a $200 billion market just in the States with a decades long proven demand, in my opinion, that is a more solid utility than being dependent on a retweet from a big social account, right? So for me, as a long term software developer, that's what I look for when I invest in projects, or when something is interesting to me. It's things like that, and not hype. Hype for me is short term. Real utility is long term, and that's what I want to tackle, and that's what I want to give to the people. So if you think this project is interesting, you can come to our Telegram, ask any question you have. We would love to answer it, and anything that you might want to hear more about, you are more than welcome. We have been transparent and available throughout since the inception, and we are always welcoming new users into our ecosystem. Yeah.
MJB, do you have a question?
Hey folks, how's everybody doing? Hey, Jacob, thanks for all you do. I have a question, comment. As you know, I'm in the chat a lot. I try to help, but I only give an answer if I feel pretty confident with the answer. I'm confused about the faucet. It just seems like it's on, it's off. You have to send directly to people. If it's no longer working, I think maybe you should consider taking it down because it kind of creates a lot of confusion. Just curious what your thoughts are. Thanks.
Thanks for that question, MJB, and you have been a great supporter for a very long time, and I appreciate your presence in the community a lot. It is absolutely true. The faucet will be removed today. I already have instructed one of the devs to remove it. The reason why that is because in this world it's very hard to have nice things. We have put up 15 BNB, but most of that has been withdrawn to scammers, is my expectation. Problem is that people started creating multiple accounts and withdraw the $2.50 they were allowed to, and then they collected it all at a centralized account. And if you spend 2 hours doing that, you could earn maybe $100. And even worse, if you wrote a script to it, you could earn it even faster. I put out this faucet because I just wanted to help those with staking that didn't have any BNB or didn't have the opportunity to move over BNB. But unfortunately, there are scammers and people who want to exploit every nice thing around every single corner. And everything we do, someone is trying to scam us. It doesn't matter if it's a fake Jacob in Telegram. It doesn't matter if it's a fake claim to a reward someone has paid or someone who wants to scam us for. It's like this market is so filled with people trying to take advantage of others. It's absolutely incredible. We try to do a nice thing with giving out free BNB, but we realized that for every time we helped one person, 9 scammers were helped as well. So we have shut it down now. We hope someone got some help out of it, but for now it is done. There's no more funds to be claimed, and we will remove it now. Yeah, so sorry for that. It didn't work out as well as I thought, unfortunately.
Completely understandable. I appreciated the faucet. I have multiple members of my family that did a small sacrifice for the postpod and didn't have a way to get BNB, so that did help us. It's unfortunate that crypto is such a land of scam, but we do appreciate that you did offer up that for those of us who needed it. Let's see. Anyone else have any questions before we wrap up here? Jacob, I just really appreciate your time. Bullish, did you want to say something before we wrap up?
Likewise, Jacob, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the effort and the commitment you're putting into making sure this is true DeFi and nothing like what exists currently on the marketplace. So hats off to you and your team. And looking forward to Tuesday night. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern is when Jackpot launches. Join us an hour before. Log into YouTube. Check out Black Hexican's Twitter page. I'm sure Jacob will retweet whatever we're putting out that's official as far as links and stuff like that. So just stay tuned Monday, Tuesday for updated links, and hope to see you there. Have some fun with us.
I do have one final question before we wrap up. We've spoke a little bit about marketing and about the community. What would you ask the community to do to help get the message out about the platform, about getting the message out to the people who are already gambling about this opportunity for decentralized betting?
I think that the referral program in itself will be quite effective for that. It will incentivize anyone to become an ambassador for the project because you are working for your own bag. And also, the participation phase should be quite a good convincer that you are getting a extra bonus for every bet you make if you win. And I kind of follow Richard Hart's foot tracks here, where marketing, obviously we are doing stuff behind the scenes, but I'd really like to keep this on the no expectations. And it would be incredible if the community could go ahead and do their own thing. As you are the owner of the casino, it's also your responsibility to bring that forward to new eyes, right? Yes, some have larger ownerships than others, but I think that anyone should be motivated to spread the word when you are in reality a part owner. And all volume that happens on the platform will directly benefit you. So I would hope that we would be successful in creating a ecosystem where we see some of the same things we have seen with Richard and Hex, where community members go out of their way to make significant marketing approaches and actions. That would be lovely to see. And we, from the team perspective, will obviously also do something such as what we are doing right now, and much of that in the future. Um, so yeah, marketing is an important thing. You can build the world's most beautiful house, but if nobody knows where it is, won't happen. It won't matter much. So, we marketing is important, and we will dive into it once we have the time for it. Because right now, games security and deployment is kind of the entire focus, honestly.
100%, and it should be for you and your dev team, but us as a community, we can definitely begin to support the project in other ways. I know that swag is a big deal. For me, I wear Hex merch all the time, Post Chain merch, and now BNB Pop merch. Heinz and I had created postpot.shop when we thought Postpot would be the first launch, but now that it's BNB, we're going to be switching it up and adding some new merch. But just the design, the conversation, people are very, very interested in holding conversation when they see the logo and whatnot. So I would encourage you all, if you believe in this project, if you're a part of this project, then do the small things, get the stickers, get the merch, and talk about it, introduce people to it, and like Jacob said, pump your own bags with your own referral code. So that is all that I have. Jacob, if you have any final words, the floor is yours, and then we'll close this space.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I would like to thank you guys for arranging the awesome launch event. I think that would be very good marketing and a very good start to what will become an interesting journey. I hope that as many of you out there listening would want to join us on this journey, because I truly believe in my heart that it will be both financially good decision for you, but also it will be a interesting journey to be on to see how all of this plays out. We have done a great deal of work, a great deal of research, and we are extremely passionate to try and disrupt this massive market by providing a better product for everyone. If you think that there's money in the gambling industry, you should probably consider looking into BNB Pod. So thank you for all who came here to listen today. If you have any more questions, you're welcome in the Telegram. We will take any question, and I will see you all on Tuesday for a great day.
Thanks again, Jacob. Happy Saturday, everybody. Enjoy your day. Bye bye.